My name is Tarek Mrad. I'm delighted to join you for the first ever community podcast. And today I'm delighted to joined by two guests who will be helping me with this. Um, Taz Virdee, who's the Heston West Big Local manager, um, and David Thurman, who is the MS Society in Home Zone manager um, and committee member of Heston West Big Local. And today I'm going to ask them some questions just to find out some information about them. So let's start with David Thurman. Uh, how's your day going, David?
So far, so good. Getting bored being in lockdown, which is the best thing to do if you've got underlying illness like myself and many, many more people out there, and particularly for the elderly as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same. I hope we'll finish from this soon. How about you, Taz?
Yeah, it's been a busy day today because we've been well. I'll talk about it shortly, but been helping local families and individuals in our community with food parcels in the last week or so. So today's really been ramping it up, getting as many people to sign up for the service, but also to make sure that we have enough volunteers to support that. But otherwise, it's been a fairly busy day, sort of running an organisation, but also trying to connect to as many people as possible, from the comfort of your own home. So, yeah, it's good or bad, but I think the benefits is that opportunities like this today to join you on your first ever community podcast. So thank you for having us, Tarek.
Yeah, and thank you for joining me, Taz.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure to have you. The next question I wanted to ask you guys: how you how have you been coping during self-isolation? Let's start with Taz this time.
So, how I've been coping during self-isolation? Well, it has been a very tricky time because normally in the role or the job I do, it's a very social job. So you're out and about all the time, making connections, but also you're running multiple activities and projects, frontline work really, essentially. And to move the all offline and put it online has been our greatest challenge. But we have done pretty well because we're very lucky, Tarek, because we have a very good team behind us of volunteers, but also partners. And what I am quite proud of is how quick we have responded to this emergency need. So I think through self-isolation it has been challenging, but it has had its rewards because we are able to make more connections now, and I feel that people are listening more. People are now taking time for self-care, but also to realise the importance of taking care of your family and your community.
I would also like to say, even though I realize sometimes the internet is bad, so people are really struggling, aren't they, as well sometimes with that. How about you, David?
Yeah, struggling because can't go out, as you know, for isolation. Can't get med. So if it wasn't for Heston Big Local going out, getting the medication to help people that can't get out, we've struggled. It's something that we've done very proud of. If it wasn't for the volunteers and more volunteers to help out, it's a godsend for people.
All right. Thank you for that, David. So let's go on to the next question. What's been going on with Big Local since COVID-19? And let's ask David this time.
we've set up an emergency system in place to help the vulnerable with certificates that have been through the doors. If you want phone calls, shopping, even to post letters, we've had the likes of the Hungry Horse donate stock. We've got Morrison's donating stock. We've got lots of volunteers to help out deliver the stuff. It's just amazing what we're doing for the community. And I'm sure Taz can say a bit more on it, as it's his baby, shall we say.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, so many
Yeah, I
volunteers.
think what I can do, Tarek, is I can add to what David just said there, and he's absolutely bang on right. I mean, I think the work that we have been doing, you know, sort of picking up food and obviously I think medication in some circumstances as well to deliver has been life-changing stuff for people. And so I think we've been keeping quite busy in that sense because we needed to try to make as many connections in our community. But it has been has been with challenges because Tarek, I'm not sure if you're aware, but you know the challenges has been really is finding people who need this support because a lot of people fall through the cracks of the system, especially if those are not being shielded or deemed vulnerable by local authority or by the government, but there are people in our communities who are vulnerable. So it's about finding those people and offering them this support, which for many people who have been offered it are very grateful indeed.
So that must be challenging. So what challenges have you faced, Taz?
I think the challenges really has been trying to orchestrate all this, you know, at home, and also trying to, you know, keep yourself positive, keep yourself motivated. I think it's not that hard to keep yourself motivated, really, to be honest, because you know why you're doing it. You're doing it to help as many people as possible. But I feel, I think a lot of people might be able to, you know, feel that this is happening to them in terms of routine, because a lot of us have sort of come out of our normal routine, waking up in the morning, going to work or whatever, or going to school or college or university, and suddenly it's been thrown out. And I think our social lives are gone, and the connections that we have with our friends and family, and obviously volunteers. You know, we often meet on most of us meet on daily basis or weekly basis. So that has been the great challenge of a life-altering situation, and also trying to keep positive in pretty much a very difficult scenario.
Just quickly, just wanted to add one last question to you, Taz. How do you keep yourself motivated? Do you have any advice you can give to anyone?
Yeah, I think for me, so naturally, I've always been a quite a motivated individual. However, you know, it's like exercise. If we don't exercise too often, you suddenly start to feel not great. So I think with motivation, it is daily exercises. So a lot of it is your vision, your goals, what you want to achieve, and make your goals not too big at the beginning. Make them small, manageable steps. Otherwise, you can end up overwhelming yourself. So to start any project, to start anything, always start small, start slow and steady, and then you'll be able to see the outcome at the end. For those who throw themselves into it and expecting, you know, big changes automatically are the ones who often lose motivation quite quickly because they don't see instant results. I think success in general is not instant results. It's small wins over a period of time. And for us as a community organization, how we've reached this point, been operating now for nearly 5 years, and because we've been able to engage with, you know, nearly thousands of people in that time, we have that connection already. So when this emergency response happened, we were pretty much, I feel, ideally placed to tackle it quite quickly before the local authority did. And that shows the strength of our community work. So that is what I was particularly quite proud of. And that motivates me knowing that the work that we have put in as a group the last few years has reaped this glory. We have been able to help people, but the work we do doesn't stop there. And every day we're moving slowly but surely, engaging more people and helping more people. So I feel the recipe for motivation, Tarek, to your question, really, is making sure we start small and slow and steady steps, small goals first for big, massive results.
I agree with that, because I think if we do it fast, it wouldn't work. So I think we should go slowly, step by step, because it's a good way to start. How about you, David?
I agree with Taz. Start off small and you get the benefits afterwards.
Yeah,
It's bigger and bigger.
yeah,
But the nice thing is we're getting response from people outside Heston. We're getting people in South Hounslow, i.e. The Hungry Horse, donating as a volunteer to drive. I had somebody on Twitter respond to me asking about him and his mum wanting to cook, which I'll forward on to the various people. And the local MP, Seema, she's over the moon for what we've done for the committee. It's just brilliant, really.
So now we've asked you what challenges you've faced, but what challenges have we faced in the community? Let's start with Taz.
The challenges we face in the community really has been, I feel people are probably grieving in terms of normal life, normal social life. You know, the way of our life has changed. So I feel like the first challenge really is, I think like any loss in life, we have to go through the 7 stages of grief. And I think a lot of us are in that period right now where we're quite sad what's happened. And I think we're finding it a bit difficult to come out of it in terms of our mindset, that this can also be a positive experience for us as individuals, families, and communities. I think that the positive out of all this is we have seen, I think David may agree here, is we have seen people come together. We have seen people really step up and really offer their support where possible. Those who can't come up their properties for various reasons and during isolation are able still have been engaging, making fantastic videos, been involved with writing things up, creating content, entering competitions. But also, I feel that we're, as I said to you before, we are in a positive situation where we've got a good team of people who are keeping things ticking over. And well, David mentioned that we are working with our local MP, Seema Malhotra, and also other local groups in order to make sure that we're able to help as many people as possible. But we also have the influence to do so. So I feel like we are moving to the right direction. The challenges has been that, us as an organization, that we've lost projects in terms of like activities. We also don't know where we stand for the next couple of months. Pretty much most of our projects are on hold or have been cancelled, which has been very disappointing because we put a lot of effort into developing those. So put them on hold, but that's just the way it has to be done now. But also, I think my main concern and worry is that we were planning to do a summer school, which starts normally end of July, early August. And my worry now is, will that actually happen? Because that's a great opportunity for hundreds of children, local children, to get their support. And we have been doing that for the last 4 years. So I'm hopefully we'll be still able to run that, because that makes a massive difference to local children's lives and their families. But all in all, Tarek, I feel like we are in a positive situation because we've seen people step up and really take this as an opportunity to improve themselves, but also an opportunity to improve our community relations.
What I wanted to add also quickly, Ted, is like I realize people are more connected now to do more activities since this virus happened. How about you, David?
Yeah, I think since the virus has come out, people have actually spending the time to talk to people, where before this happened, people were just so ignorant, wouldn't spend the time talking to anybody. I
Yeah,
mean, the youngsters that we've got as volunteers, they've been brilliant doing videos, helping the mums out, showing them how to cook, making videos, the proper way of how to wash your hands. And now the kids are trying to do Word of the Wednesday, which I haven't seen the response from that yet, but I'm told it's pretty good from what Rachel's doing on YouTube. I'm sure Taz can tell us a bit more about Word of the Wednesday and how the kids are responding to it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Word of the Wednesday is an activity that was set up by Rachel at Creative Spaces London, and the idea really is for people to, of many children, but not just children, parents as well, and adults, to basically be inspired by the words that Rachel gives out. I think there being community, I think connect being one word, and change. Sorry, change is one of them, and to create a piece of artwork or a poem or a story or a video about that word. But what's come on the back of that is then Labour stepped in and she's doing a story competition and some positive news that we're hoping to start an art project, a theatre project online that has been funded by the Arts Council. So we are trying to do new things. And these are fantastic little activities that we're doing online that we hope to spiral into something even more bigger and better.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I was doing on board, I was working with Bristol Court up until we got lockdown. My wife as well, she come along, another couple of volunteers. We were trying to get the residents to get out. We started doing some gardening. They've got raised beds, so we started weeding it and doing that.
Yeah,
they were enjoying it. It's just a shame it had to stop. We could have done more for that.
Yeah, I think the plants might be dead now. So let's move on to the next question, and let's start with Taz. What advice would you give to those self-isolating? Let's start with Taz.
Yeah, advice. Well, I think the first thing really is to not try and panic. I think that's the key thing here. I think it's to be calm in a situation. Also, if you are isolating when a member of your family is able to go out and go shopping, for example, and trying to pick up the essentials, make sure that you are picking up exactly what you need for the next few days and not for the next few years. If that makes sense. So my advice is not to go crazy and stockpile things up. Allow items to be left so other people can get them, especially our key workers, like from the NHS, police, teachers, etc. People who really are running our country. And also my other advice really is to not use this opportunity to distract yourself, but use this opportunity of self-isolation to make some sort of progress in your life. The progress doesn't always have to be, for monetary value. It's progress in terms of mental health, physical health. Try something a bit creative. Do something that you haven't done for a while. You know, things that you used to do when you were a bit younger, or when you had the opportunity to do that. So my advice really is find some alone time, some me time, in this craziness, and really use that opportunity to progress and develop and be more creative, I say, because that will make you feel content and hopefully a bit happy. And also to nourish and develop your relationships in your household, because this is also a very difficult time, Tarek. Lots of families might be having sort of difficult relations, and there could be a high increase of that, things like the domestic abuse, domestic violence, and other serious crimes like that. So we need to really stick together and work as a family unit. Otherwise, more problems will be occurring, and they are occurring at the moment. So I think my advice really is to sort of spend some time on yourself and progress your skills.
You say those people struggling with self-isolation. What things have you got installed to help them with that, like counselling? Any counselling?
Well, we've got a few things that we're trying to do, and we have done. So we have done. We are doing meditation, online meditation. One day for over 18s, one day for under 18s. We also have a life coaching sessions, which are predominantly aimed for mums or women, but it will open up to everyone shortly. Also, we are going to trial phone counselling service. However, it will be a trial basis to see if it works. So a few people might have the opportunity. But more or less, really, it is the online activities and the voluntary opportunities by going out and helping with the food parcels. Those are sort of things that we are trying to encourage. I think the main message really is about social distancing and making sure that we are staying away 2 or 3 meters away from other people if you have to go out. I can't stress that enough, about social distancing.
Yeah, my advice to them is to stay home. How about you, David?
I agree with what Taz is totally saying.
Yeah.
Can't stress enough to stop people from going out.
All right. My next question to you is, Taz. What's the best way of staying connected in these times?
I think the best way, really, I mean, there's a few ways, but I think in these times, the best way to stay connected is first and foremost to use your telephone wisely, make phone calls, talk to people that you haven't spoken to for a while. If you're on WhatsApp, you can try that as well. And video conferencing, things that like we're doing right now to create this community podcast, is these are sort of methods that we need to be doing to have that communication with people. Of course, we all know here that the personal touch is always the better way of doing it, but we can't do that at this current time. So I think we need to work with the best of our ability and what technology is available. And also for those who are able to leave their properties, I feel the art of writing letters, posting letters to neighbors, to family members, the old school style, is something which I would encourage as well. It's not like immediately that you respond, but it is a nice way of showing and also dedicating some time to write a letter, where most of us have not done that ever, or haven't done that for a very long time. So I would say sort of go back to the old school style of communication. It could be a great benefit to mental health as well.
Yeah, I agree as well. Also, especially those who don't have internet, it's good to write letters. How about you, David?
I agree. Pick up your telephone, speak to people. If you're struggling, speak to a counsellor. I know I'm doing my wife's head in. She's threatened to bury me under the patio if we had one. She's not coping very well because we're under each other's feet. Domestic violence will double or even triple during these times. People won't pick the phone up and speak to each other.
Yeah.
It's hard time.
So let me ask the next question. What are the benefits of self-isolation? Let's ask Taz.
I think the benefits of self-isolation, in my opinion, really is that you will spend time hopefully working on yourself, as I said earlier, about progress, about making sure that you are taking a lot of self-care time, but also as an opportunity for personal reflection on things that you've done. Also the benefits of self-isolation, sort of those things that we always put off, David. It could be reading a book,
Yeah.
it could be watching a film that you always wanted to watch, it could be learning a new skill. Through isolation, that's the opportunity now to do that, but also to rest well. A lot of us just don't get enough rest. A lot of us don't sleep well. So it's important to use this opportunity now to not stress too much, trying to make sure that we get a lot of sleep, and if possible, to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves during the day with our, with our loved ones, if possible, if they're healthy, to do that while you're isolating, or to make sure that you're there to support anybody who is struggling as well. But the main thing, really, the sort of benefits of isolation is hopefully a peace of mind as well, and an opportunity for you really to find out more about yourself and become more self-aware. So I think there are benefits, and hopefully people will see them in a few months, but there also will be a lot of problems as well. We can't
Yeah,
shut.
yeah. Like I came up with this idea because I was thinking, how can we get this message out if we're not allowed to see each other or gather together? I said, why don't we do a podcast like we're doing now? So I came up with this amazing idea and we started it. So let me ask David now. What do you think, David?
Um, yeah, podcast is a good idea to get the word out. People have to stay in to stop the spread of COVID-19. I know people don't want to do it. It's deadly, deadly serious. We've just opened a new temporary hospital at the Excel Centre. That just proves how bad it is going to get.
Yeah. Anything on you to add, Taz, quickly?
No, I think as David said, really, is it's important for us to follow the government guidelines and make sure that we are staying home and we're not leaving our properties for any reason otherwise stated by the government. I feel if we listen to that, people will finally be safe, and we're protecting also our NHS and also people's lives. We're saving lives. So staying home, has never in history has been a more heroic act. This is you being a hero, is staying home and saving lives.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, David, for that question?
Sorry, Tarek?
Any last thoughts?
No.
All right. So let me ask my second question. What once this is all over, how do you think people will react? Individuals.
They'll go straight down the pub when it opens.
How about you, Taz?
I think David's absolutely bang on right there. I think people would head down to the pubs, head down to the restaurants. A lot of us are missing our takeaways, missing the opportunity to socialise. I feel that it's going to be a massive boom after all this, and also there'll be lots of parties. I think people are going to make a big meal about it. Hopefully, that's the positive. Lots of fantastic parties to go to.
But do you still think, you both, that they will struggle sometimes to go out? Now this happened for a couple of
Yeah,
months.
I think what happens normally, when not normally, it's the first time it's happening, but I feel once you stay home for a long period of time, it can be difficult to leave your house because you
Yeah,
start to become anxious, nervous, and also you've sort of lost how it feels to go outside. So I feel like a lot of people will be suffering from anxiety. There'll be a lot of mental health issues as well, and also, unfortunately, a lot of those who very sadly have been abused or hurt during this period of time. So it is a lot of work to do as soon as this lockdown is over. So we haven't really started yet, and those are the
I'm,
frightening thoughts.
I'm hoping that once the lockdown's released, people will still stay strong, like we are doing at the minute. People helping everybody out. It's brought everybody together. Let's hope it stays that way. Who knows?
yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. I hope so people will go out more and not be too scared, but I
I
can
mean,
understand.
I'm sure it's hard for you, Tarek, being in Bristol Court. All your residents there can't get out.
Yeah, and
You're,
I always ask about the residents, I have to admit. I ask how they're getting on, but some of them are saying they're really struggling. Yeah.
yeah, because it must be very difficult. I mean, you're one of the lucky ones who've got access to internet. I'm sure the others haven't.
Anything from you, Taz?
I think so. My final thoughts for today, really, first thing first, really, is to say a massive thank you to you, Tarek,
Thank you.
because I think Tarek, I think you've done an amazing job bringing this together. It's not easy to set up your own talk show, and you've done a great job, and I feel very honoured to be one of your first guests on your show. So thank you very much, Tarek, for putting time and
Thank
effort.
you for joining me.
No worries at all. It's been an absolute honour.
Anything from you, David?
No, I've just been told from my wife on social media on Sunday the what? 5th of April, 7 o'clock, they're asking for people to put some music on and dance on your doorstep. So let's hope we can get the word out and get everybody out there dancing.
What, just a random company?
Just to get everybody out
The
to
music
dance.
they want on is S Club 7 Reach.
S Club 7 Reach. So let's see. Maybe we can get people out there.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me, David.
You're welcome.
So I'll see you guys next time on the show with more guests. And thank you for joining me for this podcast. I'm your host, Tarek Mrad. And thanks again. See you next time.
Thank you, Tarek.
Thank you, Tarek.
Thank you.